My hearty Independence Day greetings to all of you. At the outset, I thank the MH2 Residents Association members for giving me this opportunity to be the chief guest today and talk to you and share some of my views with you all. Thank you all. As the earlier speaker told, I am not a permanent resident of this MH2. Nevertheless, I keep coming here very, very often. I have a number of friends here. I am a regular morning walker, and then I love everything about this MH2 campus. A nice place to take early morning walk, and then a nice sight of young children awaiting their school buses with their grandparents and parents ready to push them into the bus in the morning hours. And I believe it is sort of a mini India virtually. People from Kashmir to Kanyakumari are here speaking multivarious languages. Since it is a mini India, the problems we have in the country also could be there, of course in a smaller measure here. It's all part of the game. But I love this whole environment. I enjoy keep coming to this place again and again. Just 2 days back, I was watching a TV program on a Tamil channel. It was an interview. The person who was interviewing him, he called the chief executives, CEOs, chief executive officers of 3 companies. And then those CEOs were being interviewed. The surprising thing is, those CEOs were students of the 8th standard, 10th standard and first year degree course. They were all teens, CEOs in that teenage. I was very curious, very surprised. I listened to the whole interview. One girl who is in the first year degree course, she is the CEO of a company giving employment to about 40 people. Number of them are much older than her. In fact, she is the youngest in that company. She was giving employment to number of engineers, she was telling. And another boy in the 10th standard, he was a chief executive officer of another concern, and then he is involved in developing apps. And then his brother, another 8-year-old boy, 8th standard boy, he was the CEO of another company. So why I am telling you, I thought I should start my talk with this example. It is all possible only because of the freedom we got, the freedom the nation got. Since the nation got the freedom, individuals also have got the freedom now. So it is a freedom that makes people come out with performance. It is very obvious. The amount of suffering people in countries like Afghanistan, Iraq are facing, it's all on account of the reason that they don't enjoy the freedom that we people in India are enjoying. So freedom is a very, very powerful weapon. The other day I was seeing one movie, Catwoman. My grandson was seeing that movie. I just caught some dialogue. One of the persons was telling, he was telling freedom is powerful, the most powerful weapon is a freedom. He was telling. I can't agree with that person more. Again, what is freedom? I see a number of youngsters, youngsters going to the colleges and the schools, and young parents having youngsters, and then young grandparents like me having youngsters as grandchildren. For the ball, freedom appears to be a double-edged weapon. In the name of freedom, people ruin themselves also. That is also one thing we are seeing. And then people make use of the freedom to achieve things and then come up in life. That also we are seeing. So the freedom is a double-edged weapon. By freedom, what is meant is the license. It is not simply the license given to us to do things which we like doing. Children like so many things. They would like to have burger 3 times a day, 7 days a week. They want that freedom. But we know it is harmful for them. So, we should not look for only the freedom to do things which we like to do. On the contrary, we should have the freedom to do things which are good for us. We should have the ability to discriminate between what is good for us and what we like. And then always do things which are good for us. If you do it, there is no end to our achievements. The 3 CEOs I was referring to, they were also echoing the same view. In one question, in answer to one of the questions, the girl was referring to, she was replying that she always goes by a decision-making system. She has an inbuilt decision-making system. Any act, she wants to know whether it is good for her in her career progression or not. If it is good, do it. If it is not going to contribute to that one, don't do it. Simple. She has a built-in decision-making system in her. And then she says she always listens to it and then takes her decision. She is not swayed by her simple likes and dislikes. It's an amazing statement coming as it does from a 16-year-old girl. No doubt, no wonder she is a CEO of a company. I recall one of the very interesting incidents I came across during my time with the State Bank of India. I had a fairly long innings with the SBI. Once I happened to spend the winter time, that is between Christmas and New Year, in Ooty, that is Uttagamaya. Most of you know it, that is one of the coldest places in South India, particularly during the winter months. Temperature touching 0 degrees. Particularly during the period Christmas to New Year, it goes to 0 very easily. I was spending my time at the branch, Ooty branch. The branch manager was one Mr. V.V. Kumar. Number of people of my age may be knowing. Mr. V.V. Kumar was a well-known cricketer. He was a well-known leg spinner in those days, playing for India in the 60s and 70s. Unfortunately, his time clashed with the period of Chandrasekhar, B.S. Chandrasekhar. He couldn't get many opportunities. He was a banker. He was a branch manager of Ooty branch. But he used to go for his morning jog at 5:30 in the morning, even during those bitter cold days. I asked him, it's so cold, I don't feel like coming out. I feel like spending my time in the bed. How do you manage to go for your job, morning jog now? And then he said, it was difficult for me too when I made a beginning. But I got used to it. Now, lying in the bed after 6 o'clock is a difficult thing for me. I have understood it's good for me. I have been doing it day in and day out, and then it helps. So that sort of an attitude perhaps people should have to achieve things in life. I want to tell one story also here. Number of youngsters are here. There was a small country surrounded on all sides by a river, say a river like Brahmaputra, deep and wide. That country was traditionally ruled by kings. But there is one strange feature involved with that country. The kingdom does not pass on to the children of the sons of the ruling king. There, the king is getting elected. He will be elected for a period of 5 years only. Anybody can opt to become the king. Then once his name is okay, he has an opportunity to rule the country for 5 years. During those 5 years, all is his decision. The country's income is at his disposal. He can rule the country as he likes. It's a fantastic job offer, but there's a catch. The ruling period is only 5 years. Not only that, at the end of the 50th year, I told you, it's a small country surrounded by deep and wide river on all sides, like our place here. At the end of the 50th year, he will be simply bundled up, taken in a boat. The boat will cross the river, and then he will be dropped at a jungle outside the river. The jungle is infested with wild animals like the bears and the tigers and elephants and the crocodiles and all. He will be just left there, and then that party will come back to the country. That's all. Let's take a seat. We can well imagine. I don't think in such an environment anybody can ordinarily survive. So, even those who are tempted to accept the offer of the kingship and then enjoy, they were put off by that condition. But anyway, some people accepted and then they became kings. The third year itself, they started shivering. They become off dead. Only 2 more years afterwards, my fate is still, I am going to die. The 4th year, they won't even feel like talking to anybody. In the 5th year, they will be 99% dead. And at the end of the 5th year, they will be bundled up, taken in the boat, and then dropped down to the jungle. It has been going on for years, for generations. At one particular point of time, one person offered to take over as king. Then he was given the kingship. He ruled the country. But he was not showing any signs of nervousness even in the 3rd year. In the 4th year also he was joking. He was remaining comfortable. Absolutely no sign of nervousness. 5th year, absolutely no problem. He was enjoying his job. At the end of the 5th year, people came. They said, we are going to bundle you up and then put you in the boat. Then this man said, no need for bundling up. I am willing to come. Why do you have to bundle me up? You don't have to compel me to come. I will come along. Then he happily walked up to the boat, got into the boat. While crossing the river, the people who are accompanying the king asked, they were totally surprised that they couldn't control themselves. They asked, all along, people used to be crying. All along, people used to be nervous when this moment arrived. But you seem to be very comfortable. You are very enjoying it. How come? And then the king said, very simple. I know at the end of 50 years what is going to happen to me. I utilize the period of these 5 years to build another kingdom for me. I have destroyed part of the jungle. I have constructed buildings. I have constructed school buildings. There is a police force available there. People have already been established there. When I go there is a town waiting for me to take over. I utilize a period of 5 years only for this. So this indicates the role of object setting, planning and implementation. That's what our management consultants do. Object setting, planning and then implementation. So we did all these three very meticulously and then we had a wonderful future. So we youngsters should also follow this system of setting up our objectives, doing planning to achieve that objective, and then going ahead with the task of implementing our plans in action. And then if only we do, success is ours. And then I had occasion to interact with people like some legends of Indian industry. Mr. Narayan Murthy, architect of Infosys, founder member of Infosys, Mr. Narayan Murthy. In the 80s and the 90s, when I was handling the State Bank's IT projects, I used to interact with Mr. Narayan Murthy very closely. In those days, computer means only the hardware. Nobody thought of software. Nowadays, computer refers to only software, networking, security, etc. etc. But in those days, by computer, one meant only the hardware part of it. Software, in fact, even for the banks, when we bought computers, software came free. We didn't pay for the software, we paid only for the hardware. Software was supposed to be given free. That was a culture in those days, 80s and 90s. At that time, even at that time, Narayan Murthy was dreaming about the software empire. I used to ask him, people can thrive only by selling hardware, computers, hardware. But why are you different? He said, he used to tell me, I am positive about it. Only software is going to have to rule the world. So I want to make an entry into only the software line. Hardware is not my cup of tea. He used to say like that. And then he had the clarity of vision. And then he had plans to set up his own companies. And then he had plans to expand it at a particular time. And then he did it. All the plans he implemented. You know what Narayan Murthy is now. So, opportunities are there for the youngsters. This, I want all the youngsters to keep in mind. The young parents also should keep this in mind and then inculcate the good spirit in the minds of the gods. Here in the MH2 there is a huge advantage you are all enjoying. There are about 300 plus apartments. The population should be about 1,000 roughly. I find so many very well qualified, very highly experienced professionals living in this campus. Doctors, financial executives, managers, bankers, military people. All sorts of people are here available. Of my age also. Some of them in active service, some of them are enjoying the retirement life like that. Youngsters here, they have an excellent resource available readily with them. For any doubts, any clarification, any mentoring, they can easily approach the appropriate senior people available in this campus. It will be a fantastic opportunity for them. If only MH2 can prepared a database of skill set already available in this campus. It's going to be very useful for the entire population. And I think people like me who are retired, we are always available for counseling the youngsters. Our time is at their disposal. It is for the youngsters to make use of this particular advantage MHU enjoys. So let us all enjoy the freedom of doing things which are good for us. If we keep on doing things which are good for us over a period, we will also start liking doing those things. So let us enjoy the freedom given to us, earned by people like Gandhiji and all. Let us preserve that freedom. Let us further nurture it. Let us make ourselves strong, and in the process, let us make our country strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rangarajan. I would request Mr. Shivraman to please give a vote of thanks to the chief guest and say a few words on the Day of Independence on behalf of the residents.
Good morning, co-residents. Happy Independence Day to all of us. I thank Mr. Rangarajan for his very motivating talk this morning on the occasion of the Independence Day celebration. He has found his large experience and immense knowledge in giving us pure wisdom, which if we have got to listen and inculcate in it, will definitely go a long way in giving us somewhat a better view of life and wisdom. I thank Mr. Rangarajan once again. Please put your hands together for Rangarajan.